Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to look at the Houston Rockets, in particular KD with the Houston Rockets, and look if we can get a kind of glimpse of what his role is going to be, how he's going to impact them over the key areas that I talked about in my last video about KD and the Rockets. Let's go. So I think the first thing to establish is what kind of shots is KD going to shoot. And so one of the big asterisks is how is he going to elevate their half-court offense. And I really like the fact he's shooting this kind of shot. Like, you run action specifically for him, get him to the elbow. Even though he misses that shot, I like that shot from Kevin Durant very, very much. One thing the Rockets are really going to need to try and do is find ways to get KD more involved in the game because they need to be more efficient in the half court. Having more touches for him is going to increase their efficiency by a lot. So here we see a little ball screen ran. And the idea is that whatever the action is, if you can get him moving downhill where he's able to stop and rise up above defenders, it's a very, very good chance for KD to be efficient. And this last one we're going to watch of KD, I'm going to actually come back to at the end, but essentially I like the concept where KD's the one setting the ball screen, and it puts a little bit of confusion with the defenders because they're worried about who's going to stop with Sengun. And so KD's going to go into this void over here, and because the defense is slightly confused, it creates where the defender essentially blocks his own player, and nobody goes with KD. Sengun does a good pump fake, but KD is left open there, and we're going to come back to this example in a second, but I like that one a lot. So the second question I had with KD and the Rockets was, how are they going to still play on defense? Are they still going to be elite? And so obviously it probably also takes a downturn having Reed Sheppard for Fred VanVleet because Reed Sheppard is not the most athletically gifted individual. However, having active hands, getting a piece of that ball leads to transition, and so that was solid defense. One thing I really highlighted is the Rockets still have a really solid athletic defensive core that is going to be effective. And so here Sengun does a good job anticipating this pass, gets in there, cuts it off to the beginning, so gets a piece of that ball, and a lot of deflections are going to go the Rockets' way simply because they're in the right place, the right time, and a nice finish by Sengun as well. And the big thing I love about these defensive plays is, again, you can see active hands. He just reaches in there, get a piece of that ball. Is if you get a deflection like that, it's going to lead to this live ball turnover, which is where the Rockets absolutely thrive because they have so much athleticism going downhill and good passers, and they're just going to find absolute open shots. Absolutely love that beautiful offense and defense by the Rockets. So those are two really good things I like to see from the Rockets. Is one, the KD in the half court looked great, and then two, the defense looked great. Now the big question I have is that the Rockets don't have great shooting. Obviously, you have Thompson, who can't shoot super well. And then you have other role players that shoot maybe 30, 34%, something like that. Something that doesn't necessarily require defenses to provide a huge amount of gravity to them. So as Sengun goes to back down, are we going to see other defenders come in and help? Or are we going to see openings where the offensive players can slide into this? So first off, I really don't like Thompson being in this situation. I get that it worked well in this situation, but the fact that he's right here is not great. Like, put him in the dunker if you're looking for more space, or put him out here and he can cut aggressively all the way through. But him being simply right here requires the defense to kind of make a silly gamble, and that does lead to an open shot because Sengun's such a good passer, which is what really helps them with this potential spacing issue. Because Sengun's such a good passer, we see this with Jokic a lot too. But if you get any advantage on the inside, so here the defense was a little bit worried about the drive here, so he stepped up here before the communication. And so you have the Rockets player that's inside and has inside leverage of this defender. And so Sengun, always the capitalist, is going to put it on the money where this defender is kind of taking the play off slightly, is just going to lead it to his outside hand and lead it to exactly where he can go up and finish that. Tremendous pass, tremendous finish, great in transition. But then the part that really concerns me is this example right here. And so the Jazz aren't going to be the best on defense. I'm going to just go ahead and make that prediction right now. And so if you struggle with this concept from the Jazz, other teams are going to do it far worse. Like OKC is going to do it far worse. Timberwolves are going to do it far worse, etc. Good defensive teams are going to clog the paint. And so as KD and Sengun went to that ball screen right there, we have 1, 2, 3 players that are going to be in the paint right here. And these are off, like, this is a decent shooter. And so, like, this is like Thompson. This is what I said in the dunker spot. He's trying to cut to the rim here. But, like, if we see a lot of bodies in the paint, that could be very dangerous for the Rockets because you want KD and you want Sengun to have space to operate, and having more hands in the paint is more errant for wild passes. They get deflected, that lead to turnover, especially against good defensive teams. But that's why I said I was going to come back to this example at the end, is because KD obviously requires a huge amount of gravity, and Reed Sheppard is a very good shooter as well. And so working in the middle of the court with this ball screen, where KD doesn't necessarily like flow down here with the ball screen, instead he pops out to the perimeter, gives the Rockets potentially a lot more spacing. Having active shooters movement and creating the defenders make sure they punish if they're lackadaisical at all could potentially open up a lot more spacing for the Rockets. So from this game summary, I did like what I saw from the Rockets quite a bit. I really liked their defense in particular, and I really liked KD shooting the ball in the half court. I liked the fact the Rockets made such a distinct effort to get him the ball. One thing I am curious about is how they're going to handle spacing issues, and I think Sengun and KD have to play a huge role in that, either capitalizing with any mistake on the defense with Sengun's passing, or KD simply being able to provide the gravity that he provides so well from his ability to shoot literally anywhere on the court. I am optimistic about the Rockets, but I do see some potential weaknesses as well. If you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe, but most importantly, have a blessed rest of your day.